Hey everybody, Qroo here. I recently had a member of my learning group, the Qroo Spanish Crew, ask me why he sometimes sees the preposition de used with adjectives like fácil and difícil, and sometimes not. For example, es fácil de aprender, es fácil aprender. This is actually a question I get a lot, so I was like, you know what, instead of just answering him in the Qroo Spanish Crew, why don't I just do a video dedicated to this subject? So here we are. So if you like the video, you can thank him. Oh, you can also give it a thumbs up because, well, that helps me. Learning Spanish is all about learning patterns, at least learning Spanish as an adult. Once you learn a pattern, you can repeat that pattern with some different vocabulary and create grammatically correct sentences you may never have seen or heard before in your life. That's how I teach Spanish. It's, how I learn Spanish. And, well, it works. So here's the pattern we're going to be using today. It's pretty simple. You're going to be using de when the thing or person that you're talking about is named as the subject of the sentence and not the object. So our formula is specific subject plus adjective plus de plus infinitive. And I know at first that formula just seems like noise, but here's an example. El español es difícil de aprender. Or, maybe it's easy using patterns, right? El español es fácil de aprender. See, I'm naming Spanish. It's the subject of the sentence. It is controlling the verb, so we're going to be using de after that adjective. The problem is easy to understand. The problem is the subject, so if we have a subject controlling that verb, we're going to be using de after easy, difficult, whatever adjective we're using. El problema es fácil de entender. Now, you will not be using de when it's a passive statement, meaning that the item thing you're talking about is not the subject of the sentence, it's actually the object of the sentence. It's easy to learn Spanish. Es fácil aprender español. See, español is the object. It's easy to understand the problem. Es fácil entender el problema. The problem is the object, not the subject. Now, you may have noticed that in those sentences, we're starting out right there with the verb. It's easy, it's difficult, those kinds of things. Even though I didn't give you an example for difficult, you could have popped that in there. Es difícil entender el problema. So that's a pattern. That can help you, pick these things out. But it's not perfect. The reason it's not perfect is because sometimes in Spanish, we drop the subject. We do that a lot, right? But that doesn't mean they're not controlling the verb. Let's say, for example, we're giving directions to someone to find a particular hotel nearby. El hotel está al lado de la lavandería. The hotel is next to the laundry. So I'm talking about the hotel. And then I want to say, you know what, don't worry, it's easy to find. Now, even in English, I don't have the hotel mentioned, but that it is referring to the hotel. No se preocupe, es fácil de encontrar. See, we have de. Because all I did was kind of drop hotel, but it is still controlling that verb. I could have popped it in. No se preocupe, el hotel es fácil de encontrar. Now, if I wanted to keep it more, let's say, the passive construction, I could do that. I wouldn't generally opt for that. No se preocupe, es fácil encontrar el hotel. Don't worry, it's easy to find the hotel. Yeah, I guess I could go either way. So that's really the difference between these two. It's not super complex. Now, you can use this with other adjectives as well. For example, that car is fun to drive. Ese carro es divertido de conducir or de manejar, or you could have said coche. Let's not even get into vocabulary, folks. Just focus on the pattern. Now, let's say I want to keep that passive. It's fun to drive that car. I bet you can do that one, right? Es divertido conducir ese carro or ese coche. And maybe you had manejar instead of conducir. I'm doing the whole vocabulary thing again. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, the point there is you can plug in other adjectives, but you're definitely going to be using this most with fácil, easy, and difícil, difficult. Let's do an example, before we head out. The house will be easy to paint. And with that one, I'm talking future tense. You go ahead and translate that one. Everybody likes a little exercise at the end. La casa será fácil de pintar. We have de pintar. Why? Because la casa is named. It is the subject of the sentence, right? It's not the object. So do this one. Let's do passive. It will be easy to paint the house. You got it? Será fácil pintar la casa. No day. I think you got this right. Well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, just do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, why not subscribe? You know, I have a lot of cool stuff coming out on the channel. Been keeping up with it, so might actually boost your Spanish. So I got to go get another cup of coffee. So until next time, hasta luego.